We're back, and today we're talking about manga sales. That's right, we got the official Oricon numbers for the top 10 best-selling manga of 2024 so far. So it's like the first half of 2024, and you might be surprised. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump onto this list. Now, if you want to know where I got all this data from, you can go ahead and follow WSJ_manga over there on X, because this person does an absolute phenomenal job just getting all the data from Oricon and putting it in a nice little template that I'm using here. But yeah, that's where you can get the information from. Now, as you can see, Jujutsu Kaisen on top, because ain't nobody doing it better than Jujutsu Kaisen. 4.6 million copies sold. Next, we got Frieren, 4.3 million. Now, if you ask me, Frieren, I think it's going to be anime of the year for the 2023/2024 year. Crunchyroll, they have this weird thing where if an anime releases like towards the end of the year, like in October, they don't count it for that year. They wait to the following year. But yeah, if Frieren doesn't win this year, we riot, because we ain't accepting that, okay? Frieren better win anime of the year. Next, we got the Apothecary Diaries, which if you haven't seen this anime, this is a really good anime, but I'm quite surprised that it made the list, because this is not, your action-packed battle shonen. In fact, this is the only anime that made the list that's not like a battle or action type of manga, right? I mean, everything else on the list has some sort of action in there. Next, we got One Piece, and this is another shocker, because you can definitely see that One Piece is kind of falling off a little bit, but we're gonna be talking about that here later on the video. Next, we got Blue Lock with 2.1 million, and another one that absolutely just surprised me is Haikyuu. Now, if you don't know, Haikyuu making the top 10 in 2024 when the manga ended in 2020, it's absolutely insane. I mean, it doesn't release new content, but it's still making top 10. Absolutely wild. And it's probably because of the movies that are releasing. But yeah, that is absolutely insane. Next, we got Spy Family with 1.6 million copies sold. Definitely, took a little tumble, especially when the first season of the anime came out. Spy Family exploded in popularity, but you can kind of see that, it's now scaling back a little bit. Next, we got Kingdom, which is definitely super popular over there in Japan with 1.6 million copies sold. Kingdom is one of those that's always making like top 10, top 15 every year, but I can definitely see here in the West, in the US, that not a lot of people really, read Kingdom or really watch Kingdom. Now, me personally, it's because of the anime and the CGI. I could never get into it, but man, seeing Kingdom pull these kind of numbers every year, it should definitely tell you that it's something special. One day I might actually read the manga, because I mean, yes, it's dominating, right? Next, we got Mashle, which I love to see, because Mashle, when the anime came out with season 1, it never really took off in the popularity department with the manga. We didn't see that huge, boost to sales in the manga department. But now with season 2, with that whole opening going absolutely viral, I guess that boosted the manga, and now it made top 10 after the manga ended, which again, I love to see, because Mashle, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I mean, I got a Harry Potter tattoo, love Harry Potter, and this is essentially Harry Potter and Mashle had a baby. Harry Potter and match. I mean, Harry Potter and One Punch Man had a baby, and boom, we got Mashle, right? Now, next, we got My Hero Academia with 1.2 million copies sold. And now this is another one that's really surprising, because seeing My Hero Academia kind of start falling off the top 10, it's kind of worrying, right? But now there is a little caveat here, right? So let's go ahead and jump into that. Now, we do have to take into account that not every manga on this list released 2 or 3 volumes this first half of the year, right? Like some of them released 2 volumes, others released only 1. Like for example, Jujutsu Kaisen, they had 2 volumes in January, and then I believe in April, My Hero Academia only had 1 volume. And so all of this together, you can kind of see why some series are lower than you might think, while others are higher, right? Because if My Hero Academia would have released like 2 volumes, like some of these other series, it probably would have been higher, right? Same with like One Piece and stuff like that. So don't take this list and say, look, all these series fell off because they're not selling so well. No, it's just that, they release different amount of volumes, right? Now, another thing, of course, is, Weekly Shonen Jump. Right now, they're probably going to be losing 2 major series, right? I mean, one, My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia is probably going to be ending here in the next 2 or 3 chapters. And of course, they're probably going to release 1 more volume this year. And that's going to be it for My Hero Academia. And then, of course, Jujutsu Kaisen. If you're reading the manga, you already know we're at the end game. In fact, I will be surprised if Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't end in 2024. It's probably not going to go through 2025, but if it makes it to 2025, it's probably going to end early 2025, right? And then other stuff like, for example, Haikyuu, you can't really rely on Haikyuu because Haikyuu ended in 2020. They don't have that fresh new volumes releasing on, 3-4 months schedule to, keep up those sales. And then, maybe something like Blue Lock, that doesn't belong to Weekly Shonen Jump and Shueisha. So that's not really part of their catalog. So they're really about to lose some really big numbers here. And, that could, be some trouble for Weekly Shonen Jump. So let's actually go ahead and talk about that because that's a little tinfoil hat theory that I have that maybe the reason why Sakamoto Days wasn't, made into an anime earlier is probably they're banking that whenever Sakamoto Days releases, it's gonna, blow up the manga sales like it did, for example, something like Jujutsu Kaisen, Tokyo Revengers, Demon Slayer, where we saw once they got an anime, they started selling like 20, 30, 40 millions in a year. So they're probably really banking on Sakamoto Days, but let's actually break that theory down a little bit further, right? Because when you think of stuff like, for example, Kaiju no 8 that just got an anime, Undead Unluck, those were anime that when we got an announcement for those series, people were really asking, what about Sakamoto Days? Sakamoto Days, I believe, sells up to like top 30, definitely top 50 without an anime. So I definitely do believe that maybe Weekly Shonen Jump and Shueisha, they were holding off on the whole Sakamoto Days anime because they were really waiting for a nice little time slot to release the anime and boost the manga sales of Sakamoto Days. And honestly, I really do hope that whenever those anime releases, it boosts those manga sales, right? Because again, I love anime, and for us to have anime, we need manga, right? So if Weekly Shonen Jump or Shueisha, for some reason, the sales get extremely low to where they go out of business, which I don't think is going to happen, we're going to lose anime, right? Everything's going to have to be anime original, right? Now, again, that's just absolutely absurd. I don't think we're anywhere near close to that happening. But it is a fact that Weekly Shonen Jump is losing some very popular series this year, and they're going to have to replace those series with something else. And that's where I think, Sakamoto Days and Dan 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 are going to come in because they're getting their anime, in 2024 and 2025. And I feel like those are definitely going to boost the numbers. Now, another thing I definitely want to talk about these numbers is that this is only physical sales, so they're not digital. Honestly, I wish I knew a good digital sales kind of like data source because in Japan, if you don't know, physical sales are declining, right? But digital sales are going up. I believe like in overall sales, like the digital market is like maybe like 55, 60, 70% of all manga sales. So, we're only seeing really about anywhere from 40 to 50% of the total sales for some of these series, right? But again, I don't have a good source to share those numbers. And if you do know one, please let me know because I would love nothing else than to see the full picture of all these series, right? But yeah, those are the top 10 best-selling manga for 2024 halfway. So can't wait to see the final results at the end of the year. But let me know if your favorite series made the list. And like always, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace out. Whoa.